In the early hours of a Saturday morning, 22-year-old nursing student Jessica Adams set out for a routine jog on the familiar paths of her neighborhood in Cedarwood Park. The world was still asleep as she jogged past trees and winding trails, but that peaceful morning would end in an unimaginable tragedy. Just moments later, Jessica's life was brutally cut short by an assailant who, to this day, remains shrouded in mystery. Her body, found mere feet from the path, would spark one of the most perplexing investigations in the history of Cedarwood County, unraveling shocking secrets and raising terrifying questions about the safety of a small, seemingly peaceful town. Jessica Adams was more than just a student. She was the embodiment of hope and ambition. A bright, compassionate woman, her dream was to become a nurse, dedicating her life to helping others. She had recently secured an internship at the nearby hospital, and things were looking up for her. Friends and family described her as sweet, driven, and a bit of a perfectionist, always planning ahead. But on that particular Saturday morning, nothing would prepare anyone for the events that were about to unfold. Cedarwood was a quiet town, the kind of place where doors stayed unlocked and neighbors waved hello from their front porches. The jogging path where Jessica ran was known for its scenic beauty and peaceful atmosphere. The route she took that morning was a familiar one, part of her usual routine to clear her mind before the chaos of the week began. Little did she know, a predator was watching. Jessica was last seen near the halfway point of her run, passing the old oak tree near the bridge. It was a spot she'd passed 100 times before, each time feeling the safety of her surroundings. But on this particular day, something sinister was lurking just beyond the trail. It was around 6:30 a.m. when Jessica's jog took a deadly turn. Onlookers would later describe hearing a scream, followed by the sound of someone running. But by the time the authorities arrived, it was too late. Her body was discovered just off the trail, hidden behind some bushes, still warm but already lifeless. The first responders described a scene of utter shock. There were no signs of robbery. No personal items were missing. Her phone, her wallet, and her keys were still on her. The only evidence left behind? A single set of footprints leading into the woods. Jessica had been strangled, but it wasn't just the cause of death that left investigators puzzled. It was the complete lack of motive. There was no apparent connection to any known suspects, and nothing had been stolen. It wasn't a random attack either, according to those who knew her. Jessica didn't have enemies. Her family was devastated. Her mother, who had spoken to her the night before, could hardly believe the police officer's words when they knocked on her door. "Is my daughter safe?" she had asked, her voice trembling. The Boer officer, holding back tears, could only nod slowly, telling her that they had found Jessica's body. A murder in a town like Cedarwood was rare, so rare in fact that this tragedy would soon send shockwaves through the entire community. As investigators delved into Jessica's past, they discovered that she had no history of conflict, no signs of distress. Her boyfriend Tyler was deeply shaken by the loss, but insisted he had nothing to do with it. They had no issues in their relationship, he told them, but detectives couldn't help but notice a slight hesitation in his answers, a tension that seemed out of place. Tyler wasn't the only person questioned. Over the next few days, the police interviewed everyone who knew Jessica, her roommates, classmates, neighbors. They even scoured social media for any sign of an online stalker or an unreported incident. But everything led to a dead end. There were no obvious suspects, no one who seemed like a real threat. But then, something strange turned up during a routine canvassing of the area. A jogger, who had been running just a few minutes behind Jessica, recalled seeing a man lurking near the trail. Someone who didn't seem like he belonged. The witness described him as tall, with a hoodie pulled low over his face, walking quickly away from the scene. When the police released a sketch based on the witness's description, it didn't immediately spark any new leads, but something about the image unsettled the community. The investigation took another twist when they linked the sketch to a man seen on surveillance footage just hours before the murder, buying an energy drink at a gas station near Cedarwood Park. His face was partially obscured, but the police were able to confirm that he had been near the area. His name was Derek Harris, a local who had a history of petty crimes, but no history of violence. Derek was arrested, but the more the police investigated, the more they realized something wasn't right. His alibi checked out. He had been working at a local diner during the time of Jessica's death. The case seemed to be at a standstill, but then a breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A few months after Jessica's murder, a forensic breakthrough revealed new evidence that would change the direction of the investigation. DNA found under Jessica's fingernails matched an unknown individual, someone who had never been in the system. The DNA led them to a man named Brad Thornton, a former acquaintance of Jessica's. Thornton had been a fellow nursing student at the same university, though they had lost contact after an awkward encounter months before. The police dug deeper into his background and discovered a troubling history: alcohol abuse, violent outbursts, and a previous arrest for assault. When they confronted Thornton, he initially denied any involvement. But when confronted with the DNA evidence, his story began to unravel. Thornton admitted to stalking Jessica for months, harboring an obsessive infatuation with her. He had been lurking on the jogging trail that morning, and in a fit of rage when she rejected his advances, he attacked her. Thornton was arrested, tried, and ultimately convicted of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The town of Cedarwood was left reeling from the tragedy. The place once known for its safety and tranquility would never be the same. Jessica's family, devastated by the loss of their daughter, found solace in knowing that her killer had been brought to justice. But the community would forever remember the chilling case of a peaceful jog turned deadly. Jessica Adams was a young woman full of promise, a life stolen in the most horrific of ways. Her death serves as a haunting reminder that even in the safest places, the unthinkable can happen. The shadows that lurk in the corners of our communities often go unnoticed until it's too late. This tragedy reminds us that no one, not even the brightest and most hopeful, is immune to the darkness that can rise from within. And as we remember Jessica, let's take a moment to reflect on the safety of our own surroundings and how quickly things can change. What is your though on this case? Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe to our channel and tell us which story you yes to create for you. Thanks for watching.